she wanna fuck another bitch, I made it happen. Felt like Michael Jackson, moonwalking. Smooth criminal, smooth
check.
Yeah. I put some ice on top of me just to cool off. I got my runners on, been trapping, I'm a boss. Take that booty on the trip and make a pussy drip. Pussy designer, she fuck with fifth. She like to ride on.
I'm such a fan of this goddamn album.
I got diamonds, Eliante. Bathing ape like I'm a babe.
Around me.
Rowdy rich, I get figures. Ben Roethlisberger still don't change like a caterpillar.
Hey.
I'm a fan of that guy.
Yeah, man. Titties. Big ass titties.
Big titties. Quality breasts.
Quality breasts. Give a round of applause. I'm feeling special. Give a round of applause.
Tis
to
the
us.
season.
It's EJ and TJ. For those that I know, I'm on the boards today, so I'm going to be extra with the...
It's going to be mad fucking claps.
It's going to be mad claps and different sounds. What's going on, man? What's the deal, bro? Where's Verge?
I don't know.
Him today. I'm going to text him.
That's a trip because Verge be here like clockwork, bro. Like,
man, I have to talk to him. What's going on with you, man?
Shit, really. You know, like everybody else, like rushing to this holiday shit now.
Is that what
trying to like put like the last little final touches on shit. This shit's mailing in when everybody checking orders. We was like, it was even like we was decorating at the house before I left. But other than that, shit, same old shit.
I feel it. Same here. I'm almost done with my holiday shopping. I'm looking forward to getting this shit the fuck out the way.
Man, I feel like I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I feel like it like snuck on me this year.
Yeah, me and Babe been saying that, man. The holiday snuck up like a motherfucker this year. Like this shit came quick than a bitch.
Yeah, I was just mad, like not prepared. Like even as like I'm like, oh hey, it's coming up, and I'm still like, here we are, like what, 2 weeks?
Yeah,
week out. I'm like, shit, like damn, nigga, I'm like, it's Christmas coming up, motherfucker, like
without a doubt,
behind like a motherfucker.
Yeah, and that's. I don't know, man. That's been the whole vibe of the year, man. Like when I look at 2019 was like heavy, but it like luckily that shit passed so quick.
That shit
and so fast. 2019
was hitting the gas. I don't know what the fuck niggas was doing. I know like that
was a gift and a curse of it, that it was so heavy and it was so like deep, but it passed fast.
Cause it was like a lot of that you said, like it was like good and bad. It was just shit going. Even this is just kind of been on the roll, and it be like, damn, nigga, like this year finna be fucking over.
Yeah, and when you look up, like people asking like, how long have you guys been doing it? I'd be like, oh shit, I'm always like, prone to say 18 months. I look up like, damn, it's going on 2 years now.
No, yeah, like something just it was kind of funny you said that, like, cause I was like, going back and forth on the page, and that shit said
1
a
year.
I was like, nigga, I remember when we did
that, right? Like,
yeah,
I look at when I see afters, because we was at afters when we took that for the Rick and Morty thing, and I see that shit. Like when I see that, you know, you scrolling through the food shit and you see them making the ice cream. I be like, I was just there like a couple weeks ago,
bruh. I dead ass was like, oh yeah, we took this shit about a month ago. That shit said last year. I was like, get the fuck out my phone.
It's definitely been a vibe of time's been passing. Speaking of this year, one thing that's been interesting, man, or one thing I guess that just to jump right into the show, something that goes with the mood of the year. Last week we talked about Lizzo.
Mm-hmm.
And I said that it's something coming, something down the pipeline that she's doing all this for. And lo and behold, she wins Time Magazine's Entertainer, quote unquote, of the year.
Is that what she was popping her ass for?
Yeah, that's so the Laker game was before that. It preceded that. So she did that at the Laker game. Then maybe 2-3 days later, she came out. It was Time. She posted it on her thing, and she got Time Magazine Entertainer of the Year.
That works. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I
and
feel
then she posted a video twerking in Chick-fil-A, which made everybody just.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
not everybody, but that made me just be like, bitch. Like to me, the shit that you are planning and doing, like Chick-fil-A is the most religious, family-oriented restaurant.
That's funny as fuck.
That you can ever. These motherfuckers, Sunday they shut down for Sundays. Like they don't give a fuck what. They don't give a fuck about football. They don't give a fuck about none of that shit.
Shut it down for Jesus.
They shut it down for Jesus. They was willing, like, in 2019 year, like the year 2019 of our Lord, them motherfuckers was willing to be like, we would just prefer if the gays didn't eat our chicken,
bruh. Like,
no, we understand they're a large group,
Chick-fil-A,
quote unquote group of people, but
conservative and weird. But
they were just like, we just prefer if they just didn't eat our chicken.
Yeah, I think like. I feel like that would probably like. I mean, but you know, shit. That's.
But
if that's how she'd get down, then that's how she get down. But I feel like that would eventually turn her entertainment into like parody-ish. Because like she's talented as fuck. Like flutes and music and all this other shit. You could do all that and you pop like I mean, I don't know. Like if because she always makes posts like that's her how she get down as a person. So I'm like, I don't know, man, live your truth. Like her fans are gonna fuck with it. But personally, I feel like that'd be like, yeah, kind of like excessive maybe.
I think the time. I think her clock started ticking already. I think her clock is ticking. I think mainstream media is creating a problem black people are gonna have to deal with.
What you mean? As far as like besides what they usually do.
I mean, just she's gonna be another case of it though. She's gonna be this big mega personality that's gonna be created, and then mainstream media is just gonna be like, well, we're done with that. We're done with that. And she's still not gonna be she's still gonna be antics though, because she's still going like, oh, this is me. And, you know, people don't ever know how to back down from their celebrity. Nobody knows how to bow out of their celebrity. Like to gracefully be like, oh, my time is over. Cool. Do a couple of features, save some money, and I'm gone, y'all. All right, hip hop.
I mean, yeah, unless she like, you know, I could see her like parlaying her shit. Like musically, like I can respect her talent. It's not my cup of tea. But like if she would parlay, like if she turned into like started acting and was good at it or some shit, like she could parlay her celebrity into another field.
She would have to. She's not gonna last in music. And it's just because she doesn't pick her moments well. And this is for me, my whole thing is that I know I kind of feel strongly that you're trolling because in the events and times, like, okay, so perfect example, she posted that thing of Rihanna and said that was her inspiration, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna touch on this too long because I feel like we talked about this already. I just wanted to like kind of say that her winning Entertainer of the Year was something that fucking I'd seen coming. I seen it was either an album or a single or something was coming for her. But when she posted the thing about Rihanna being her inspiration and shit, my whole thing is that when you see Rihanna or these people do this, they're doing it at certain events, Met Galas and things like that. Mm-hmm. When these events come around, you don't pick these events that give you the range to be able to show artistic expression in your outfit. You don't pick those events to be able to do that. You pick Chick-fil-A and Laker games and family events and family restaurants. You should be going to no place that has a play place with your ass out. It has a play area. Like it literally has a place where children have a domicile that they can play in. Nigga, like, why are you going there with your ass out?
Yeah.
Like, not even ass out to like. Excuse me, shit, just choked. Like she had on the coochie cutters that were like they cut so much that it's really just panties seeing you from seeing pussy. Like if you didn't have no panties on,
so she had on denim drawers.
Yeah, she basically. And I'm like, you know, to me, if you took advantage and went to award shows with your titties, ass, and pussy out, that's fair game to me, I guess. Like award shows and have no problem with it, no matter who you are. There's stuffy in this motherfucker, right?
Bro, I'm gassing shit, burping like a motherfucker.
Like, yeah, I'm choking.
Finna die.
Finna die. But yeah, to me, that's something different. But I guess that's just some, to me, antics that I just can't fuck with.
Yeah. You know what I saw this week and I feel like as two black motherfucking podcast radio host niggas don't talk about it. Motherfucking Tom Joyner retired. Yes. Tom Joyner like the great.
Shout out Tom Joyner,
bro. If nobody's out there talking about Tom Joyner being like one of like the greatest.
Oh no, not one of the. He is like as much as we praise Howard Stern.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's right. Like if not more.
He's
like,
for what Howard Stern does and what Howard Stern's niche is. Granted, love it. It's easy to me. I think it's easy to sell women. Masturbating in your studio.
Hey y'all, I got titties in the studio.
Yeah, like I think it's easy to sell Jenna Jameson riding a dildo and shit in the studio, but when you're Tom Joyner and you have to do a morning show in Dallas and then travel on a flight right at the end of your show to go to Chicago to do your show, to become the biggest name in radio, you have to literally go across from the bottom to top of the country daily.
Even that's like that's work shows and a flex. Like they were like,
I don't think it's that. I think it's a necessity. Nigga.
I mean, no, not like a flex. Like he was trying to like just you're so good. We want you in 2 cities.
I don't think it's that though. I think it's like nigga, you have to be in 2 cities. I don't think it was you so good that we want you in 2 cities.
That's how I took it.
I think at the time for him to be what he was going to be today, like I think it's the old adage that you have to work twice as hard to get half as much.
I mean, from his perspective, I see that view, but I just always I looked at it. I was like, a nigga was talented enough where they were like, yo, we need him here, and another city was like, we need him here too. From their perspective, I looked at it, he was talented as fuck. Him, I definitely feel like he was grinding.
I don't feel like even for that. I feel like sometimes people just need a job filled, and if somebody's willing to fill it, they'll let somebody fill it. And if it just so happens that it's somebody of quality that's willing to fill it, then you just get a double up. But I think sometimes that's like when your boss goes to the best nigga on the shift and asks him to do overtime. You don't really expect this nigga to say yes because he works so hard during the shift. But then that nigga say yes, you be like, oh shit, you will? Oh shit, okay, cool. Oh fuck. Like you just luck up into it. I don't think Tom Joyner was a nigga that they were like, Tom is so good, he's gonna be the future radio that we have to. I don't think it was that. I don't think Tom Joyner applied and they were like, he's great and we just have to have him and we can manage and pay for plane tickets, and I don't think it was none of that. I think Tom Joyner legitimately had at that time to work twice as hard to get half of what other radio personalities had, and for me, I could see the flattery in it. Like, I understand where there's an area to be flattered. I do. But I don't think at that time, because the times didn't call for you to be allowed. In my opinion, like, when I look at those, like, early, like, late 70s and, like, what was he, 60s and 70s he was doing that shit? He was doing that in the if I'm not mistaken, the late 70s. Late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah, we were headed towards, I think.
Yeah, I think we were heading towards 80s. Maybe early 80s he was doing that. So
ballpark, yeah.
Yeah, I would think maybe early 80s he was doing that. I think in the 80s in that time, I don't know if black entertainment was still like, celebrated, not so much tolerated. Like, I think that people understood how strong the market for something was, but I don't think nobody was happy about hiring them.
No, I wouldn't look at it like they were happy. I just legitimately look at it like a motherfucker was like, if I have a radio station, I need somebody that I at least, whether I like them or not, or whether I appreciate them or not, I know that this motherfucker has the ability to run the show. And so when I saw that, I definitely believe that for a time it was a work twice as hard to get half as much situation from his perspective.
I don't think he ran those shows though. Like, that's my whole point. Is like, when I say run the shows, I don't even mean like, oh, he was the boss and ran. No, I don't even think the nigga did like the boards. I think he literally had a whole crew of people around him that was probably whatever they were. And
but for radio,
he just literally went and plugged himself in as a voice.
But for radio, unfortunately, I feel like to the outside, to the audience, that's what it is for radio. Like, nobody here understands like boards and we in here clicking on shit. They just hear our voices. So,
but I think for us, our sense of pride would be like black engineer, black radio producer, black this, black that. So it's one thing to have a Tom Joyner show, but how many people around them were of Tom Joyner? Like, to me, that is where the pride will come in if I was Tom Joyner, is that nigga gave me this show and let me hire all black everything.
Oh, no. I think I'm missing my point maybe. Like, for Tom, I 100% feel like he felt how you felt. I just took it when I looked at it, even if you're from if they say both stations were racist as fuck, there was a recognition. They recognized like this nigga still has the talent to manage. Like, I just like objectively from stepping back, I'm like, the nigga was boss enough to handle two stations. Like, is there motherfuckers now that couldn't get up? Like, if you put them in front of a mic that time or this time in any city, they'd have got up there, said some shit, it'd have flopped, nobody would have listened in. To have the ability to go to two separate cities and tune in and listeners listen to you, that's a fucking bar. Like, that's some dope ass shit. The circumstances all trash, like you're saying, but to be able to go, I'm in Dallas, then I can get on a plane and go to, I think, what was it, Chicago?
But I'm not understanding in what sense, in terms of the reception of the people, in terms of getting the jobs. Like, I'm not understanding.
Like, I'm just saying that to be able,
part of that was that?
Yeah, to be able to have the talent to be the face of two shows and handle, and two giant cities go, I like listening to this motherfucker enough that he can have two shows.
But isn't that just nationally syndicated radio before it existed? Like, I think that's what I think that's a standard for radio now. If you're
people had two shows?
No, nationally syndicated is the whole world. I mean, the whole country gets to hear you.
But that don't mean they like you. Like, you have.
But what I'm saying is, you don't get
here.
Nationally syndicated through being, like, if the Good News didn't feel like we had an appeal to be nationwide, then I don't think that we would be here. I just think that was just like an industry standard before it was an industry standard. Like, he was just fulfilling an industry standard before. Like, there was a demand. So when people, you have to understand, this is when people vacation places. You go somewhere and you hear someone or you hear something, you be like, man, I win this cat That's man out there, and it's the radio, just whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Those type of things create a buzz for a person, I think. And I think that is what projected nationally syndicated radio to go. But I don't think like it was as, I don't think it's as big as an accomplishment.
I would have to disagree just because of the time frame. Like if right now,
maybe for the times.
Yeah,
right.
like for right now, somebody would be like, you can cut on the internet,
because
and Charlemagne is worldwide. For him,
that's true.
If
that's
I
true.
If
in
like,
1980 something,
yeah,
to be
like
just
Chicago
nationwide.
knows Chicago,
Yeah.
Dallas knows Dallas.
That's
if you
true.
to be a
That's
nigga in
true.
two separate cities, you that nigga.
Yeah, before it existed too. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's why.
Yeah.
All the
by
other shit you
today's
said,
standard
I
is
was
different, but back then that's true.
Oh no, now if you just gotta, you can hear motherfucker in. I fucking.
But how much do you think of that? How much of that do you think is just like we was happy just to get any of us on the radio? Like we translate. You know how we always talk about no matter what city we always travel to, any hood we went to, we was good because we respected the rules of the hood, and all hoods are the same. So all niggas in the hood is pretty much the same.
But that is a talent or somebody to have the perspective to understand different. Because honestly, every nigga doesn't have that perspective. There's a ton of niggas who we could whatever that would go from here and step outside. They go 20 miles from here and get beat the fuck up. So to even have that type of
ability
like
to translate.
Yeah, the ability to because like even right now, Dallas and Chicago, they're different places. They're
completely different.
You can, but right now you could definitely if somebody were to send you to Dallas and then turn around and send you to Chicago, you could not only merge the two, but you would give. Oh, I'm gonna give my Chicago niggas some Chicago shit, my Dallas niggas some. That in and of itself is a talent. There's some motherfuckers that if you were like, I'm in Dallas, if you take me to Houston, I'm fucked. Like I don't even know outside of this city. Fuck around. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Do you think Tom Joyner celebrated enough? Because I remember back in the days, like in the 90s, I think in the 2000s, we've kind of forgotten about him. I just amongst everything because like I think the oversaturation of the field has allowed us to forget how big.
Did he celebrate himself enough, or did we celebrate him enough?
No. Do you think we like currently like the culture like do you remember in the 90s and shit? Tom Joyner, like Black History Month for McDonald's, mm-hmm. Tom Joyner basically ran the shit. Mm-hmm. Like every February, you knew McDonald's was gonna buy with Tom Joyner and give you some little books.
Oh, it's the Tom Joyner morning show.
Like, yeah. Like, do you think we in this era, like right now, that quickly, how I just underestimated or undervalued the accomplishment of like syndication to have a syndicated radio show in two different cities on opposing sides of the country with completely clashing cultures. How do you? Even things like that. Do you think we fully understand? Like even when we look at stuff like just the legends like Bill Cosby, and I granted like Bill Cosby, I understand the whole argument that goes with it. Put the asterisk next to what I just said by his name. Cool. I'm not gonna go through everything. Let's put the asterisk by it, and we'll talk about it in another episode. But Bill Cosby, because goddamn, the whole list was about to be controversial figures. But do you think we celebrate these people enough just for what they were? Like Bill Cosby was a huge fucking deal. Do you think we give him enough of those roses?
I would like to think like there's a generational cutoff. Like if I drop any of those names at like a family reunion, I know which table them names gonna go. Nigga, listen here, and then I drop them, at my 18-year-old cousin and down. It's like he's the asterisk guy. He's the dude who put bitches to sleep. I don't know nothing about. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I don't know. I don't even eat.
NyQuil nigga.
Yeah. He's like, He's like, bro, I don't even eat Jello. I don't know nothing about that shit. Like, I didn't watch. Like, I don't know what is a Huxtable. So I don't even know how to spell it.
Yeah, in this day and age, I had a motherfucker tell me. I heard a young nigga say, bro, I was working with a nigga, right? And I had some Jello one time, and he was like, hey, bro, I thought you don't eat meat. I was like, I don't, my nigga. What the fuck you talking about? It's Jello. He's like, Jello pork, right? And I was like, nah, my nigga. And I thought about it. And I was like, wait, is it? And so I Googled it. And I was like, Jello is pork.
Yeah.
Jello is straight pork, my nigga. Jello is just pig bones grinded up.
That was some of the most that was like such a fucking millennial conversation. Because what doesn't know like. So now the Jello man knows that Jello is pork. Like so, but that's my whole thing. Is like, how could you celebrate the nigga who's behind? That's like a nigga being like, I don't eat bacon, but that nigga Farmer John is a great man. Like that's like that. You can't celebrate a motherfucker who's selling some shit that you don't morally approve of.
So then on top of that, they know him for putting bitches to sleep. In totality, the legacy of some of the people that we know as legends, like me and Babe talk about that. Like some of the coaches, not some of the coaches, some of the generation's biggest people are all just like pieces of shit by today's terms. So it's kind of hard for me to. I'll be like, some of y'all favorite niggas is like OJ was the greatest athlete. He's a murderer. Bruce Jenner was then the greatest athlete. He's a woman now.
How am I saying?
Michael Jackson was the greatest entertainer. He was Michael Jackson. Y'all niggas are like when you go through the generation, like really the biggest nigga for every generation.
You have to celebrate them just in their field.
Oh no, you gotta celebrate. You have to, definitely have to separate.
Yeah, you have to just like what's that shit you used to say? You gotta really separate the person from the art. If you wanna, kind of.
I had a clash like that this morning. We were talking about that because I was listening to Fabulous. Mixtape. And Babe was just like,
conversation about Fab. That shit was just
the same. I know it was the same thing.
It was the same.
Somebody was like, Babe was just like, we just let this nigga just slide on back. I was like,
same conversation.
Yeah, I had to turn the music off. I was like, this one I can't even. Because the only thing I could think about was her. As soon as she said that, I just thought about like M's pops in front of the house yelling, and she didn't realize that she was just talking. But when she was talking, it was like knives. Them shit was like. I was like, "Ooh, these are like really valid points. Like, let me turn this shit off."
Yeah, and I'm not. I try not to be in the.
We got to try this again later.
Yeah, I try not to be in the business of like holding someone forever for like I don't know, a mistake. But some motherfucking shit is heinous, and especially when the shit is repeated, it's like, damn, bro, like it's, I could not even give you a pass, but I'll give you the opportunity to learn from your mistake and do the whole reform, and like I literally honestly I fucked up, but some of these niggas be doing shit that just wild heinous.
I don't even think niggas be wanting you to repent completely. I think sometimes niggas be wanting you to do the Homer Simpson meme. You know how like Homer just goes back into the bushes?
Yeah.
I think sometimes people just be wanting people to do the fuck that. Like understand what you are. Even some of these women that you see on like reality TV. Only reason I'm saying this because we just talked about this the other day. Again, me and my girl, because we always talk about the idea of just like generations. When do you hit your expiration date? When is what you are and what you're exuding no longer what we doing no more? You get what I'm saying? Like, you know how niggas get out of jail and their clothes be all baggy and shit? You just like, we ain't doing that no more, my nigga. Yeah. Like, for me, when I watch certain things, how now I watch the women, the camaraderie amongst women now, how women are like, yo, we no longer knocking crowns off queens' heads. We, like, fixing them and shit like that. And that's dope. That's beautiful. Even Charlamagne, how, like, we seen him with Juice WRLD, like, man, hug people and tell them I love you. I seen Big Boy post how, like, he celebrated Juice WRLD when he was alive. And, like, we now as a culture, I think of black people are big on, like, celebrating each other and bigging each other up. And it's just kind of how, we was watching Basketball Wives, and she was just talking about like Evelyn and OG and how like as black women we're like as black people we're just championing each other right now. When you just see how in certain times that old expired way will come out in like heated moments. So like in a heated moment where OG and Evelyn had the beef, Evelyn kind of like made some like racially like some colorist fueled insults.
Evelyn's one that got head.
Some light skin, dark skin shit. Yeah. Okay. She basically made some light skin, dark skin remarks. Yeah. So and then people
2019. Damn.
Yeah, but it was just kind of like when she did that though, she had to face the wrath of what I feel like really is this generation. And this generation is not just the type that once you make one mistake, they on your ass. Like it's not just you don't get to just make a mistake in what you made a mistake in.
Oh, no,
so now it's not just like, oh, you light skin, dark skin, like, and then on top of it, it's like, bitch, really you ain't even black. Really you just jumped on this Afro Latina train, and then it just started to, and it got to the point where it was like, you know, you gotta do the ancestry speech. Like I looked up my ancestry, but it's just like that's his generation, man. It's just like you don't get to be both. You gotta really be what the fuck you were, and that's making it hard for a lot of older figures and idols and people to have longevity. Like even how we talked about Martin Luther King a couple of weeks ago on the show, and even though we were trolling, for some people the identity of like you did this, that duality can't exist.
Yeah, like I don't know. I'm like 50-50 with that. Like I think that you should be, I don't know, held accountable. There should be consequences for things you say, but sometimes a lot of this culture does not give people, like I said, same thing. Like you just don't give people the opportunity for growth. Like if you held, I don't know, literally anybody. If you inserted any celebrity, any person in a position of power or whatever, doing something positive today, they did some shit before that was trash, which is cool. Because honestly, I shouldn't say cool, but like I don't necessarily want a motherfucker who's never fucked up. How am I supposed to trust you?
High level of fuck ups though, bro.
I mean, I think there are definitely levels.
For some
to
entertainers, what do I need to trust you for? I don't need to trust you. I don't need to trust you to entertain me. Like I don't need to trust you, so I don't need your dirt. Do that make sense?
Yeah, I shouldn't say necessarily like need your dirt, but I think some people like, depending on like you look at and
I'm almost okay with my celebrities not having a humanizing quality. Do that make sense? Like I don't want to know Michael. Like Jim Brown back in the day used to be like, I used to not run out of bounds, and I would get to the and you know this of course from but just for the people out there.
How he Jim Brown?
How he would always get to the facility before the team, so he would wake up in the middle of the night, go to the facility, get his training done, his massages.
They thought he was a fucking robot.
Exactly. So to me, I think that allowed people to the perception of him to remain the same and never. I think that now like that access and shit that we have and that humanistic, I don't need that with certain people. If you just sing, I don't need that humanizing quality about you. Can you imagine if we would have known Jordan left the NBA because he had a gambling problem? Like he went to play baseball because he had a gambling problem, and the mom possibly killed. Like if people had access to this possible information, this alleged information at certain times, what would Michael Jordan really be to us? Like, do we really need the humanizing qualities of certain people? That's what I'm saying. Like, the humanizing qualities of JFK was that he cheated on his wife. Do we really need that?
I don't know. Like, sometimes I think it kind of might vary from person to person. Because, like, sometimes you might end up, I don't know, you end up fucking around and idolize somebody who does not deserve that. And you end up, people have, like, a certain amount of power. Whether, like, that might not apply to, like, us, but your position might give you the ability to have sway. And if you're a piece of shit but we all view you as some type of like amazing idol, people follow them. Like celebrity does come with a certain set of a certain type of power to it. And while me personally, like you put out what you're comfortable with. So on the flip side, like as an artist or as a celebrity, as somebody who we are now in the media or whatever, like I would just be cautious of what I put out. I know that there are things that are personal to me that I wouldn't want out there, but I do, if I respect that what I say on this mic could affect somebody, then I'm open with like living what I speak here, I guess. So now I have a level of transparency. You just kind of got to be comfortable with how you're transparent. So I wouldn't say it's necessary. Like I should know, like, how many times a day you scratch your ass.
But do you think a lot of what is considered humanizing by us is things that are things people don't mind being known? Like more times than not, anything that we find out about a celebrity that humanizes them to us or makes them more regular or relatable, it's not a good thing.
I think people kind of mess up or like maybe abuse what they consider like humanizing. I think people like to see, you like to see like you just said, you like to see Michael Jordan got a gambling problem because now this great, majestic being has the same fuck up that you do. I think some people like to do that. Like, I think they like to see the flaw in somebody, but instead of using that to go, that person's flawed, and I can, like I was watching the Roddy Ricch interview on Breakfast Club, and he said more or less, like, there are niggas, like, when he went, he got locked up for, like, a little bit, and he was like, there are niggas in there who you can literally, you saw that I was in the same position as you and I'm in this chair. I think a lot of people set it up like that, and like they set it up the transparency so you can be inspiring. People use it to go, like, to justify their fuck up. Mm-hmm. He gambles, I can gamble. That motherfucker stabs motherfuckers, I could do it. He rape, I can rape, and he's rich. Like, so I think they use it. They use it for, like, I don't know, fucked up means.
It's a defense mechanism instead of a reason. I understand that. I don't know. It's just interesting to me. To me, it's kind of like that's a double-edged sword. Just because the same things, like those, I don't know. I just don't need to be endeared to certain people. I think for certain people and certain things, it's not a trade-off that's equal.
No, I could definitely, because there's a lot of artists that I enjoy that I don't know them personally. But then I look at people like, I know his name gets thrown around a lot, but like, you look at Nip's impact was bigger than his music. So a bit of transparency can help. It just kind of depends on what you want to do as an artist. If you just want to make music and live your fucking life, then you should have the right to do that. If you want to be transparent, then you should just, I don't know, nigga, be careful with how you're transparent. Like, don't just be out here, these niggas all in my life. Well, then you should set it up to where your life is. Like, even, like, once again, even Roddy today, like, or when I was watching today, his shit was very, like, it was a refreshing interview because they were saying shit like, I'm not going to talk on that. And it was smooth. Like, nobody said shit. Nobody made no smoke. Nobody's not a fan. It was mad shit. I actually, like, looked in the comments. It was mad people like, I like this nigga. Like, I like him for just, like, standing on. It wasn't no rah-rah shit. It wasn't. So it's like, if you want to be that, I just think it kind of boils down, like, if this is your truth, then you can just literally live your truth, make your art, and go about your fucking day.
Yeah, but I also feel like that's a different thing. Like, I understand what you're saying, but some things that are like what I'm accustomed to, I just know y'all don't understand or don't know it yet. I'm not gonna put that. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, for Roddy, going to jail and certain shit is not.
I mean, he was definitely dancing around stuff, but that not dancing, that's not to be but he was definitely being cautious because of his background. But even still, like, it's like it worked, nigga. Like, if you want to keep
no, but what I'm saying is some things. I understand that, but it's not because it's not because I'm not comfortable with it. I know you're not comfortable with it, so I'm not gonna talk about it. But I know you don't understand that you're not comfortable with it yet. Do that make sense?
Yeah, but even that, like, I mean, it sounds not like not like flippant, but it's just kind of like you have to, you kind of have to sit back and go like, okay, I know, you know what I'm getting into. I know I kind of am trying to appreciate like the status or level I'm coming into as an artist, as whatever. So I think like that. You kind of gotta, like, you know, you have to adjust. I've never, you know, like, if this shit hit tomorrow, like it's like, oh shit, it's Joe Budden, the Brilliant Idiots, Just Dope Ass Podcast. We now in a spot where it's like, as much as I don't know how to move in that space, I gotta learn quick. So it's kind of like as certain artists, it's like, if you get in the spotlight, especially like all this shit now, you have, once you put it out there, you should almost immediately start kind of trying to train yourself that this shit could pop tomorrow. So you immediately just kind of, you know, there's no handbook for this shit, but I feel like, you know, you got to try. You're gonna fuck up, but you got to try to not, you know, be in a mindset where you just overwhelmed by the shit and say some shit, or I'm too transparent, or I'm not transparent enough. You just do.
Yeah, I feel it. That shit just hard, man. Like,
oh no, it's hard.
For me, I look at it like just this cancel culture.
That shit.
Cancel culture. The dreaded cancel culture.
Yeah, I think that shit, I don't know. You kind of gotta, yeah, you gotta bruh the fuck out of that, actually, shit.
Yeah, man, cancel culture to me, man, that shit is intense. Like, yeah.
I think you have to, I mean, there's no, like.
So that's what I think is hard. I think it's hard for certain people and certain artists to know what you can and cannot present. And certain shit is just, you don't know what's detrimental and what's not, especially just in this climate.
I think I mean,
just like Lizzo, like, shit can go from good to bad quick. You can go from everybody was fucking with you and you was this to catching some black backlash and having a.
I think that depends on how you, I guess, how you try to set up your situation, whatever you may be doing. Like, you look at it's a completely different, you know, between a Lizzo and, like, say, a Lil Duval, completely different, like, fields, but they're still entertainers. But Duval has set himself up where I'm not going to apologize, and all of my shit is in, like, living my truth.
Impenetrable to cancel culture.
Yeah, kind of like, because, like, you can't cancel me if I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I'm not letting you cancel me.
Yeah, so it's just like, you're gonna cancel me. Whoever's mad, kind of like a fucking. I'll just keep it. I can go back to music, like a Boosie. Boosie should be the most canceled nigga on planet Earth.
Yeah,
like,
without a doubt.
But doesn't care because Boosie does whatever he wants for him and for the people that fuck with him.
So you think that's where Kodak lost that? Somebody like Kodak started to give a fuck about what he was getting canceled about?
I think, one, he started to give a fuck, but also Kodak just was moving dumb. Like,
but I think all of them have moved dumb. Like, you look at a nigga like Gucci. Gucci throughout his whole career moved dumb and just never gave a fuck about when we was trying to. Gucci pushed bitches out of trucks. He shot niggas.
Man.
Gucci talked about Waka Mama and talked about everybody in the industry and felt no type of way about it. But do you think sometimes your attitude just makes, like, almost your attitude just makes you impenetrable to Like, nigga, you can't cancel me. Period. That's just it.
Yeah, I think there's impenetrable, and then there's like, you know, like using, I don't know, like you said, like there's we always talk, there's a duality to things. Like there's impenetrable, which is like a Duval where he's like, you could tell even if you don't like what he says, Duval be kind of saying shit, and it's to like, or like a fucking him or a Joe Rogan. I was listening to that shit earlier too. But
I haven't gotten around to that. I definitely.
It's long. I'm not even. It's like 3 fucking hours.
That's cool. Smoke some weed. Let's do it.
Dead ass. But it's like those are people who like, okay, I'm gonna say something harsh. I'm gonna say something that's, but it's, you can almost kind of take a bit of solace even if you disagree with it.
It's substance to it.
Yeah, it's substance, and it's in a pursuit of like a truth. I'm saying this to really stoke, like, you know, thought and
yeah. I mean, I think for some people the difference is in the outlandish comments. Is your outlandish comments to put an end to the conversation or put a beginning to it? I think people are okay with outlandish comments if it's just the beginning of the conversation when you say some crazy shit.
Well, I got something for that too, but I'm gonna put a pin in that.
No, go.
Well, no, it's like it'll take a left because like as far as, because I just looked at you.
We got an hour. Let's take a left.
No, I looked at you on YouTube and it was just like, speaking of like people saying shit, YouTube just did this shit that I saw the other day that I'm like, they put like a ban, like they just started out, they put on a ban on like hate speech. And when I saw that, I was like, everybody was like, yeah, fuck hate speech, blah blah blah.
Hate that hate speech.
And I was like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was like, this is stupid because hate speech is
free speech.
It's subjective. It's like, you know, like if I say like, man, this Crystal Geyser water is trash, somebody be like, yo, bro, you are,
somebody that work with Crystal Geyser gonna be
bruh.
like, you motherfucker.
And everybody was really championing this shit. I was like, okay, you don't know what's hate speech. Somebody, how do you even regulate what's hate speech? It kind of tied into like, I realized how much like news shit I follow, and it just like hits back to back. Like Sacha Baron Cohen said some shit about like, he came at Mark Zuckerberg about the fucking the information they put on Facebook, and you need to regulate it. And that's like, that to me, what he was saying, I could almost get behind. Like, regulate what's like, if you just look through the information, go, okay, this is factual. Like, you could regulate factual information, but I'm not even, as a black person.
Sometimes I be wanting to ask, for who? Regulated for who? Regulated for who, motherfucker? Because it's just fun. Like, sometimes I look at the people who are yelling hate speech. Regulated for who? You know what? Like, sometimes, why I hate that shit where you could just ban things in general?
Yeah.
Because I think it takes accountability away sometimes from people who should have to just walk up to people directly and say it to them.
Yes.
I think you want to ban hate speech on public forums because you have people in your personal life that use hate speech and you don't know how to tell them to stop doing it. So don't. I hate, like, I fucking. Have you guys seen the meme this week where it's the white girl, she has a glass of water on the thing and it says black culture? And then it shows her, she's barely sipping out of it like a cat, and she says actual black people, and then it has a she says like white people, and it's somebody like she's drinking the cup like this, and then it says gay people, and no, it says other POCs, and they're like, she's like sipping the cup, and then it says white girls, and then she's like drinking the cup really fast, and it says LGBTQ, and she's like chugging the cup.
Wow.
Have you seen it?
I haven't, but I'm a fan.
Yeah, like to me, that should be like, bro, who are you defending? Oh, great white hope. Like, who the fuck are you defending? Like, you want to ban hate speech on this public forum for me, but the hate speech I want you to ban is not on this public forum. I don't want you to fight this fight. I want you to go fight that fight.
I personally don't even think, like, for hate speech that could be directly, come towards me. I like knowing who my enemies are. Like, I remember when I had like Facebook, I really like enjoyed like, like it'd be like wild Republican shit. Everybody was in college, and that's, everybody's coming into their views.
I don't think racism is like I think I understand trying to eliminate or trying to
not even eliminate. I just used to be
it.
like, I see you. Like, I like to know. I like my lines drawn in the sand. I don't need you to stop being.
Well,
you.
For me, I think you can basically. I don't think. Number one, I always look at racism as like by the definition of like, do you have the power to stop me from doing something or like that? So when I look at racism, I'm very light with that word because I haven't encountered very many like people that I felt were racist in a position to stop me. Now, do I have inferred racism, like where I infer certain things about certain people? Yeah, because of based on certain traits. Like if you're a 70-year-old white man that I'm meeting and we work together or something, I take shit with a grain of salt because I've I understand that if you're 70 years old, then like you were what 20 years old when the Emancipation Proclamation was signed.
I understand.
Excuse me, Civil Rights Bill.
I understand.
You were like,
you grew up and enjoyed.
Yeah, you were 20 years old before you had
racism.
to. Yeah, you were 20 years old before you had to identify me as a whole person. It's very hard for me to believe that all of a sudden, once that Civil Rights Bill was signed, you was like, well, that Martin got what he wanted. They're one of us now. No. And it's hard to believe that over time that just died out with everything that was feeding the ability for that monster to still live. So with that, I'm not going to just label you as this, but I understand that you don't get as much leeway as...
Cautious as fuck around y'all. Don't trust none of y'all.
And even with that, I think by... Like, again, I don't use the POC thing because I understand that for a lot of people,
I be enjoying our shit and don't help.
Not even that. You come here with the aspiration. You don't know what's planted in you. Like, I think black culture is fun early. Like, everybody enjoys a little bit of black culture when they're in their, like, 20s and teens and shit. Like, because hip-hop is the thing. Black culture is the thing. It's what everybody's around. But as they get older, you start to see that it's like, oh, no, I'm going back to my culture. No, I'm sorry. I'm going to go back over here. Yeah. Like, oh, no, my parents have arranged a marriage for me now, so I'm done with the hip-hop clubs. And
that was a fucking...
no longer, like, those things, to me, I've seen it 100 times over. Like, I went to school with mad Asian people that just...
Oh, yeah, no, Jane Elliott said some shit like that. Yeah. She was, like, doing one of her experiments, and it was some quote, I might be, like, fucking up a paraphrasing, but she was just like, who in here would like want to be black or something? Yeah, like none of them raised them. Like, so that means y'all recognize like what it is out here, and you bullshit.
Yeah, for me, that's one of those things that I have a hard time identifying with that because I even understand for some of you guys, you might be second generation, third generation, first generation American, second generation American. So for some of you, your parents immigrated here, and when they immigrated here, the idea of American society that they were thriving to be was white society. But in white society, they were picking up bad traits subconsciously of superiority and inferiority in certain races and cultures, in that they understood superiority of white people because they knew that's what they were to strive to be, and they understood the projection of inferiority that was happening by society because they knew not to try to be black people. So I just that shit is loose to me, and so I don't give it too much. But I'm sorry, we digress from what we were saying.
It worked.
Yeah. That shit to me is just like cancel. I mean, like the ban hate speech and all this shit that y'all be running out here for. What are y'all really doing it for? Who are y'all doing it for? Because when I start to see people who are championing too much without asking anybody, like, who did you ask to do this? Like, who are you doing it for, and who are you asking to do it?
Not even that. Like, I don't
like if you're doing it for the children of the world. Did you ask the children of the world? Is this what hurts their feelings? Like,
yeah, like what we said. I know we touched on that. Like,
people
last
be like,
week.
Save the whales for the children. Has anybody asked these kids do they want these motherfuckers?
Oh yeah, I don't know much about whales.
I'm just saying in general, some of the shit we are claiming we're doing, like
fucking Jennifer Lewis was like, she made a song about saving the fucking ice. I love her. I really would like to meet her. She's like everybody's auntie.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's
a real song about the ice is melting. What the fuck?
But
no, I don't like with us. Like,
I think we need to bring that back though. Telethons and shit.
Oh yeah, I mean, like,
I'll start singing for causes.
That would be funny as fuck. I just don't like the shit of like when you said the banning and even us, like with like you said with the racism thing about never encountering, because racism is like the power. Like, I feel like we do that a lot. Like, oh, somebody said nigga, I don't like it. Like, you can beat them up, but I would like us to focus.
No, you can't. First off, you can't beat them up, nigga.
Yeah, you could beat them up. I told y'all, you could, you can, like, don't beat them up and like look for cameras. Don't beat them up.
Niggas gonna be sending their bail bills to Just a Dope Ass.
I don't got no money, but like I love you. You know what I'm saying? Like, beat them up. But like I said what I said. But yeah, I just think we like don't focus on, like, and a bunch of anybody you fuck with like has said these same things. Focus on actual structural change. Like, that person said, nigga, so why don't y'all buy the block? Like, why don't y'all do something that's concrete? I don't really care to change a racist mind. Like, be racist, just be racist over there. Like, I don't need to interact with you. Like, niggas be just getting mad about the most like surface level shit, and everybody be like, you're a real activist. You really fought. You did nothing but scream. You stood in the street and you yelled for 3 hours, and you got a lot of like retweets and shit. Like, it's motherfuckers out here like changing bills and taking over like this and that shit with in your local government, and you like, yo, I sent out this tweet, burn the fuck out of Trump. Got 4,000 likes in like 20 minutes. It did nothing like to change anybody's situation.
I mean, yours, yeah, nothing. I don't know, man. That shit is just weird. There's so much fake activism now and it's just hard to see. Like, the lines are really blurred with shit. So I don't know.
I think that's because, I don't know, some of y'all niggas like pussy. Like those, I think I've said this before. Like it was shirts going around like, and people still weren't like, we're not our ancestors. Them niggas died, bro. Y'all like, screaming on Instagram. Shut the fuck up.
I think that type of shit is for your I mean, for some people they not their grandparents. For some people they had pussy ass grandparents. So for some people you might be inclined from what your family has always been throughout the years. So I'm not here to take that away from some people. Some people you're championing the fact that you really are better than what your ancestors were. So granted, that's just shit. And that's cool. But as a whole, I definitely feel like we did kind of I ain't gonna say went backwards.
Backwards is not. I don't know if backwards is the right term.
We got stagnant. We got comfortable.
Yeah, niggas was like, I don't know, niggas on the freeway, and then like they just got off and made like a bunch of lefts and started like enjoying this town. Like you should have gone that way. Like,
yeah.
Like y'all
that's the best way to.
Y'all took the worst detour in history.
It's a long ass bathroom break. Long ass bathroom break. Like just a long ass bathroom break.
Up there pissing and shit.
Yeah. On a lighter note, man. This week you might have seen the other night I was watching HBO. I started watching. And I'm gonna talk to you about this because this is comic book shit. I started watching Watchmen.
I ain't done that shit. I mean, I used to have so many just weird ways to pull comic book shit into this. But yeah,
I was fucking watching the Watchmen, man, on HBO.
That shit had me hot,
nigga.
Yeah, I've been watching that shit.
Oh man,
that shit had me hot.
This shit is upsetting and thrilling and everything at the same time. And I fucked around, seen the end of episode 8. I thought it was the end of the show.
Yep.
Oh, I got on Instagram and went on a tangent. Nigga.
I'm not gonna lie. I saw the funniest tweet. Somebody said Dr. Manhattan is transracial. Bro, that shit had me fucking crying.
He is Rachel Dolezal.
I was crying.
Have you caught the racial undertone of it?
What undertone? Nigga, they spilling that shit.
No.
Nigga, they.
I mean, like how they're like, oh, they're white supremacists, and the white supremacists like, but we're not white supremacists, but just like the whole thing of like Dr. Manhattan is this black guy that doesn't understand how powerful he is or doesn't even know, and these white people are now planning to get rid of him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that shit is deep.
I feel like they sat, because I was watching deep comic book cut. I was listening to Fat Man on Batman, and it was Mark Bernardin was talking to, because comic book niggas take everything seriously, but Watchmen is one of those things where like niggas take it like super serious.
I did not know that.
It was one of the best things. Like there was mad when this shit dropped. It was mad motherfucking like forums and articles. They was pissed because it's kind of one of those shits. Like if you read the comic, it sets it up where like you leave it alone. Like you don't really need to do any continuation shit. It's a good ass story, like kind of a one shot, and boom. They did some shit where they like have incorporated Dr. Manhattan back in, but whatever. Like motherfuckers like don't fuck with the Watchmen. It's perfect where it's at. Leave shit the fuck alone. So it was just kind of like Mark Bernardin was talking to the dude who ended up writing it, who's like a big like Watchmen fan, and he was just like, I figured I would take it up because I knew I have a relationship with the material, and if somebody else did it, I knew they'd fuck it up. And I was so surprised that this little short white man was like, oh, I'm going to swing all this like racial dick. I was like, when I saw who it was, I was like, that motherfucker just said, oh no, I got it. Relax. Cause
nigga made loose a gossip gay and shit.
Bro, it was, I saw that coming. Like it's HBO. There's going to be some gratuitous ass fucking.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be some butt sex.
I didn't know where it was going to come in, but like, and I knew it was going to be.
HBO is now good for 3 things: racism, butt sex, and bad endings. Like, they are infamous for
HBO
racism, there, butt sex, and bad endings.
I know what y'all think this HBO is standing for. Hot booty.
Hot butt offered, nigga.
Yeah, hot butt offered at all times.
In every show, is some hot butt getting offered.
And it was crazy. It was just like, bro was like beating the shit out of an entire. It was just like.
Nigga beat up all of New York City.
Yeah, if you haven't watched the show, like, spoiler alert or whatever the fuck.
Oh, you ain't watched the show, I don't give a fuck. Yeah, I'm talking about this shit because it pissed me off.
Bro, like, nigga was like. And they just did like they just did like a lot of like subtle shit. Like, hey, you want to know who the first superhero was? A black man, bitch. I was like, wow. Like, want to know who the most powerful motherfucking universe is? Also
a black man,
bitch.
Yeah, like ironic.
Who's the main character?
Or like the most powerful man in the universe chose to be black.
Bruh.
Not even that he was black. He was just a blue god, and he had the choice between being 4 white men and a black man. And he chose to be.
And he chose a black woman. And then this black woman runs around beating the dog shit out of every white man.
And then the idea that he chose to take a passive role and allow this black woman to be the one. He had all the power in the world. Only flexed his power the one time to save her life.
Bruh. And then like sees it coming. Like the whole time he exists, he's like, oh, I know what I'm going to do. And like, I'm perfectly cool with like, you know, making waffles and taking these kids to school. And I be at the crib. Like,
and that's just like so dope that he was a god, and as a, like he was just like, as a black man, I'm just gonna chill. Like I can just be it's intense, man. But that shit, HBO is very, very well known. Like I mean, like Sopranos, GOT. I haven't watched The Wire yet. I said The Wire was gonna be my next HBO show. How did The Wire end? Because they had butt sex, they had racism.
Honestly, The Wire, if you're like, I mean, it has butt sex, but like if you're looking for like, Omar is like. Probably like if you're looking for like top 10 gay dudes in like fucking cinematic history, Omar top 3, and I'll argue anybody about that. Like nobody, I don't give a fuck who's fucking whose ass. Omar was like, Omar was that nigga.
No, yeah, I mean I seen glimpses, and I do like the
nigga was walking down. Omar coming, shit.
Yeah, I seen that.
Bruh, that shit was so motherfucking funny. But no, I like the. It was like one of them was kind of dead. I think the first season was hot. Second season was meh, and then it turns up like to the end. Like that's where you get like when everybody like gets the one-liners and my name is my name. Like you get all that shit. But no, it was a fire ass story Idris Elba told about him getting that role, because it was like what the fuck was I watching? I think I was watching like Hot Ones, but they didn't want like any British actors. They were like really over it. So he was in there lying his motherfucking ass off for like 5 ever. And it just so happens that when he went to do the audition, he was like killing them. But one of the dudes there was like from like, I don't know, Wales or some shit. And he was like, go ahead and say that one more time. And he was like, dog, I was in there shook. And then he was like, but they ended up giving me the role because I was so motherfucking fired. And I was like, I like hearing these niggas have like goddamn come up stories, because they're just the biggest nigga on planet Earth. Do movies, make whatever the fuck, British pop, hip, trip, trap.
DJs,
that nigga
he's
do
an MMA fighter. He does mad shit, yo. And he still has a lot of going.
Damn, that nigga do beat niggas up for real.
Yeah, he's actually an MMA fighter.
It's just a scary ass nigga, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Nah, fuck with him.
Yeah, he's definitely a renaissance man. But nah, HBO just really be on the bullshit with the shit, so it'd be hard to fuck with them. Like I be trying to, cause I stay up all night at work, so I'm all night, so I gotta find something to entertain me. I literally every night consume 8 hours of media. While everybody else is sleeping, I consume about.
It's like you and Batman, nigga, just all night just consuming shit.
So it's like a lot of media is consumed and a lot of shit happens. Yeah, nigga, that shit just.
I gotta figure out what to do with that, because like I watch HBO and it has like cool shows and shit, but I'm really trying to like X all that shit out of my life. I got Netflix, I got Disney Plus now.
Might just go with the Hulu.
Yeah, like I like all this like bundled up shit. I'm like, man, I'm tell cable to fuck off, man.
Yeah, I would never pay for cable. Like at this point in your life, you just need a smart TV. Once you get a smart TV TV is a cable box and just whatever channel you want to watch. It's just like, it's basically conceptually is what it was when you had the box and it was like you have on demand for each channel. That's all that it is. Once you have these apps now, these apps are just individual standalone, like
I'm so
on demand.
I laugh at Disney Plus every time I cut it on, because I know it's nothing new except for like 2 shows. They're completely capitalizing off my nostalgia, and I'm just like, take it.
I don't give a fuck enough about Disney to buy that shit, bro.
I didn't realize how much Disney was a part until I looked, and I went to like, it was like, look through the vault, and I was like, a nigga really had all these movies, and now I have to rewatch. They had that and Marvel. Like I was a rap. Like I knew Marvel was taking their shit back. I knew they was gonna drop some of their own personal shit. So I was like, they had me at that. And then I keep forgetting like they're like the most ridiculous franchise hungry like that. And I'm like, oh, Star Wars. Then I watched The Mandalorian. I was like, wow, these niggas really gonna come up here and do some shit. Like the new shit ain't on there yet, but I was like, once these niggas start
Oh
dropping,
man,
the new
what
fire
was that?
shit,
Hold
it's gonna
on,
get nasty.
Oh shit, I was watching something about aliens this week after. They got Homeward Bound.
They got Homeward Bound. They might shit. I sat up the other night and watched
that nigga high as a Georgia pine tree,
bruh. Walked in, goddamn, walked in here with that goddamn, it's gold, goddamn it. Like, I was,
nigga was in the car high. She had a cup, right? And it was at a cup holder. She didn't even bother to take, like, the cardboard cup holder. She just drank the cup, I was like, you just gonna keep drinking with that cup holder. That's how I know you high.
Nah, bro, y'all walked through that door, Tiff walked in. I'm your mama, I'm your daddy, I'm that nigga in the alley.
Push him, man.
Didn't take the glass. It's gloomy outside. You came in with the glasses on and shit. I was like, oh, y'all niggas was living.
A red light. She had a red orange shit. I was like, who does this nigga think she is?
Yeah, she shit.
Walked in
good shit.
Looking like a Mississippi pimp. Bitch better have my sweet potatoes.
Nah, man, but they got every motherfucking thing. I was sitting there chilling at the crib, watch fucking.
I'm not a Disney fan, man. I'm sorry. I know that shit is blasphemous as fuck. I am not a Disney fan at all, bro.
I don't know if that's
I don't give a fuck about Disney.
It's weird. Like, I'm selective, like, about Disney. Like, I like to watch. Yeah.
We talked about this week.
What?
Nigga, as a kid, I watched rom-coms. Like, I love fucking.
EJ, you been paying taxes since you was 6. Nigga had a beard at fucking 10. Fucking just.
Nigga, look, as a kid, I remember going with my mom, God bless her soul, man. We would go and she would take me with her because I was the only child. Like, I was my mom, And so she would watch rom-coms, man, and that would be what we bonded over and watch. And so as a kid, nigga, I used to be like, that's my thing. So I never had a Disney childhood. Like, my mom's I never had that shit. Like, my parents wasn't.
I was like,
I was a grown-ass kid.
Mine was 100% the movies. I remember I've gone to Disneyland, but I see motherfuckers now growing. I'm like, I fucking hate this place. I like the movies, but like I don't give a shit
about
the
movies. Like I seen the required ones like Cinderella, Lion King, Aladdin. But I probably can count on my hand how many times I've seen Aladdin.
Oh no, yeah. I think for me, I know it's 100% just nostalgia. Like I just remember, like, oh,
but I didn't have enough memories. I didn't have enough time with it to create a nostalgia for it right now. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I have no nostalgia for Disney because nigga, like,
no, yeah,
I didn't have no time originally to create no nostalgia for it.
Oh no, I know what it is for me. Like I remember like my room, I remember my TV, I remember having all the videos like in my little case. So for me, it's like, okay, y'all just got me off of my fucking memories. It's fine. Y'all can take this. Y'all can take this.
But like for me, because I don't value it, it's become one of those things. Because like that's something that is inherent, like given to you by your parents. Like your parents are Disney people, and then they give it to the children. It's very rare that people just pick up and really go to Disneyland and be like it's the happiest place.
I've met those people. I don't understand it. Like, we went to Disneyland on some just kid shit, but for me, I'm like, nigga, you could have took me anywhere, Chuck E. Cheese, whatever, as long as it was some, cartoonish fucking characters. But
what the fuck are you doing?
No, what?
Oh.
Tiff back here doing fucking Morse code, try to get E attention, like, nigga, Mac.
I didn't know she was having I thought I got worried. The fuck are you having a stroke? No, really, why are you throwing your hand up like that?
What?
I'm sorry, y'all. Anyway. She's in the back of the studio just like throwing her hand up like she's shooting a 3-pointer, but it's just like
what?
It's like she's getting fouled on every shot. It just looks terrible. It's bad form and everything, man. Get your shit together, son.
What is happening?
But
what is happening?
I don't know if she was trying to like get my attention and like make a comment or something, but it just
Tiff did the fucking I'm playing for your heart.
Right, yeah. This is terrible form, man. You missed that shot.
That was such a that shit's on Netflix. That was such a funny part. I fast forwarded straight to when he knocked her shit and then cut it off. I'm playing for you. Fuck out of here. And I end the movie.
She said she gonna leave me if I die. Well, bitch, you done with life.
Amazing. You dying to me. I swear to God, I'll kill you.
But no, fuck that shit, man. I don't know. Like, but yeah, because I don't have nothing for it. My son is not gonna have nothing for it. Like, I'm literally ending the Disney legacy.
Fuck it.
For my family because I don't have nothing for it. Oh, well, there you go. Tiff like it. But even then with that, she's one of those people that's like, well, let's watch it let's sit down and watch that. And I'll be like, nah. And then she'll be like, well, I don't want to watch it no more. And that's just pretty much how it gets ruined. So
I'll be watching shit for me. Like,
nah, because I don't. but I mean, like, she's a woman. You know, women are like, babe, this sorry movie. Like, you seen like Herbo had to take Emily daughter to go see Frozen. Like Fab and Emily, you know, they date G Herbo, Tiana, his girlfriend.
Oh, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know nothing about.
All right, yeah, but she dragged him along to see Frozen too because that's her favorite movie, and he was like, I'm miserable. But
I think my shit might die then because I don't give a fuck about new Disney. Like, I like the Incredibles.
What is new Disney? Because new Disney just seemed like old shit getting remade.
Honestly,
live action version of.
That's what it is. Like, I mean, because I haven't watched Frozen. I don't
and
know
like even some
that.
of that new shit is just old shit from the '60s, and where they just didn't where black people could only play the animals. Like, that's all the fuck it is. They just letting black people play other people now.
Mm-hmm.
Get the fuck out of here. I'm not for Disney.
Doesn't Walt Disney like a wild racist dude?
Yeah, Walt Disney was a. I'm not watching that shit. Walt Disney was a racist and a pedophile. That's what I'm saying. If you look at all the greats from every generation, who is it? First, me.
Who is it? Just rich white dude. He'd like the fucking he doesn't like niggas and he fuck kids. What? It's a billionaire. That's what they do.
That's the standard, right? That's how you get $1 billion if you white.
Yeah, you know, every rich white man used to kick it at Epstein house.
Oh gosh. Who, Epstein? Epstein ain't never going to jail.
Y'all can't even get it out.
She meant Weinstein.
Oh, I was like,
Weinstein.
Epstein was, they murdered that nigga, bro.
Ain't nobody murdered Epstein. Epstein chilling on the island, man. Y'all better stop with that bullshit.
Niggas killed that nigga. He was finna tell on everybody.
No, he wasn't. No, the fuck he wasn't. He just was mad he had to leave. He had to fake his death now. He was pissed off. That nigga had to go get his face redone. Now, I mean, like 8 months of surgery and rehab and reconstructing his face so he can come back to America and hang out at elementary schools.
Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah. You know what I started watching too? Ray Donovan, and it was the most oh shit.
No, Ray Donovan's some shit.
Holy shit, bro. I'm on like the third episode. Nigga, I'm still in season 1.
No, I got to like season like 3
when that nigga
4.
went to did you see when he went to the meeting of all the dudes that got like sexually assaulted by the priest? And he told the joke where he was like, priest walks in the house and his wife's got her bags packed.
Bruh. They like those.
Oh man, like white people are like,
I don't know. I like
some white people.
Them shows be like though, like Showtime, fucking they be hitting the gas on that shit.
Not like every channel has their niche on what they hit the gas on. Like for HBO is definitely homosexuality, racism, and bad endings. Showtime is sexual, like they are like sexual deviants. Whoever's running Showtime is a nasty nigga. Like Californication, House of Lies, nigga. Whoever
and Showtime
runs Showtime
used to be where you can go watch the softcore shit.
No, Cinemax.
Showtime didn't have their own too.
Oh, I remember Cinemax had
I know
Skinemax.
Cinemax was the one.
They had
Cinemax.
Skinemax.
Yeah. I think Showtime tried to compete for like a little bit, but yeah.
But I remember, no, I don't know. I never watched it. Then they wasn't good because I didn't watch. It was either Skinemax for me. For me, it was Skinemax, or I would have to go get me some HBO, like Taxi, Real Sex, or because Real Sex every once in a while would do a documentary that would like get you some hardcore shit in there. Like they would slide in, like the life of a woman who does anal porn.
Yeah, you look like you like Skinemax. Everybody in there scissoring and shit.
Yeah, you're not getting no genitals.
You're just sliding up like
titties and grinding.
Yeah, like
that's all it is.
You know what really fucked that up? When you start fucking, and you just like, hey man, they don't even look like that. These niggas been lying to me. I ain't never slid on no fucking fancy jazz music plays in the background.
Right, them saxophones. First time you have a sex, you're like, bitch, you ain't got no saxophones?
Bro, I was in high school. I was like, I ain't never had this shit. Fabo was screaming in the back of the car like, last time I got some ass. Like, this shit terrible.
You ain't got no saxophones in your apartment, bitch. Your mom ain't got no saxophones.
What kind of shit is this?
Oh, you ain't got no Kenny G CDs?
Shit was terrible.
Why every time Kenny G come on, your dick get hard?
Hey, man, look. It's training.
Skinemax, bitch. It's Skinemax. That is the funniest shit in the world.
Yeah, I always thought that was weird because, like, even now, like, white dudes always look like they're trying to, like, tear a bitch skin off while they fucking. Like, white people porn is weird to me.
No, I think that's just them though. Like even when you watch, yeah,
this would be the shit that like I just heard it. This is the shit they be fucking do. They be sitting there just talking, and all of a sudden it get real quiet.
This is a fucking hip hop beat.
Jazzy shit come on. It's a lot of weird uhs and ahs for no. Yo, Skinemax should be fucking
No,
that should be the next lawsuit. We should all just sue Skinemax for fucking destroying our mental state.
I think eventually, like these millennial, understand something. Niggas have people were allowed to sue McDonald's because the coffee burned their lip. So eventually women are gonna get together and sue. Like people are gonna get together and sue the porn industry. They're gonna be like, it's created unrealistic expectations of sexual. Like that
actually happened. Y'all, some of y'all are whack, but some of you niggas are cool. I forgot, like, I put that fucking thing of like asking questions, and somebody actually asked a porn question, but it wasn't like wow, like it was like,
oh wow, let's do it. You did questions.
Yeah. Shout out to Tyra Chavez.
Okay, cool.
Should there be a ban on porn that is free? Would this help from sexually explicit ads? I don't think there should be a ban on porn. Period. I don't know how do you
ban free porn?
I guess that, I mean, I'm assuming there's a ban. They would try to ban free porn so that like porn that makes money like can get more. You know, because if I'm not gonna pay for porn because they got tube sites, I'll never do that. Like,
no, but that's what she's saying. Banning tube sites, like
I don't think that. I'm definitely like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. I'm against it.
I don't think sexually explicit ads are going anywhere. I think,
those ain't going. Like,
I think the idea of, I think sex has become more normalized because we've just started to understand that it's not as bad as a thing if we always made it.
Mm-hmm.
I think as generations are just starting to understand that like sex is control. So even to go ahead and ban it is again trying to like some form of control. So I just think that people would be completely against that. And I think it would just like make it be a flare up of now people are going to walk around on the streets naked and go even more places where they shouldn't be naked to prove to people that like,
yeah, people gonna find ways to get there. I feel like you regulate porn, Tumblr or some new version immediately blows up. Like niggas like, look at my dick now.
I think that's the best way to do it is to regulate it. I don't think you can ban it though. I think you have to do regulations like how they're like you have to wear condoms in porn and Tumblr is banned certain things and you have like explicit sides of stuff. I think you should have to go to a place for porn. Like you have to go to Pornhub for porn. I think other places do as best they can. Like Instagram doesn't let you post sexually explicit shit. If you do, it's supposed to be taken down. But I think to ban something is just when you ban stuff, that just makes it even worse. That just makes people. Yeah. So no, I don't think banning and banning free porn sites is going to stop sexually explicit ads. No, I think it's going to make it go up.
The 5 questions that came through are like so fucking varied. Vegan lifters. What made you a gamer? And that's just how. Fuck you, Kirk. Kirk just being fucking whatever. And then kinks and how everyone's got them, but they're scared of being too nasty.
Oh, what the fuck? Where did that come from?
I put it on both. That one was on mine.
Okay.
Yeah, I just was like, what? I mean, they're cool. It was just like they were so varied. I don't know much about
kinks. What is the kinks?
Let's I was like, I don't know much about vegan lifters. Like, eat what you want to eat. Sorry, Diddy. Kinks and how everyone's got them, but they're scared of being too nasty.
I mean, babe, get up. Come on, jump in.
I don't know. Yeah, I think people just have to start. I think that might still be a thing, but I think now, like in this sexually open world, people like are coming more into what you like to do with your body. Shit, I could die tomorrow, nigga. Like I'm finna get off wherever makes me get off.
Yeah, like to me, I'm just one of those people that are like, I just can't not
with the coat.
I can't deprive myself of stuff. So like my kinks, I just accept it. I think some people are just worried about. I guess it's just what you grow up knowing. Like how we just talked about like what is sex when you grow up with certain things. I think for some people they grow up with like sex is just a necessity. Like you have sex to have kids, and I think that makes people be like, oh, my kinks are weird. Like this is not what sex is for. Sex is not for dildos or butt sex or
I think like
whips and chains or shit.
Certain shit's just not normalized. Like so kinks you looked at like even the fact that they're like kinks. I don't know if that's like a bad word, but it makes it seem like, oh, you doing some. But what is
shit. Sex for? I think too affects what people do during sex. Like, what is sex for? Is sex to please yourself? So, I think if you look at that in all areas, I think even like the being ashamed of it, I think that is part of it. It's like, what do you see sex for? Do you see sex as something that is supposed to please your partner? If you do, then you do it a certain type of way. If you see sex as something that's to please yourself, then you do it a certain type of way. If you see sex as just something that is just like, oh, my body just needs it really quick, let me do it to get it out the way, then you do it a certain type of way. a person who doesn't, in my opinion, a person who doesn't believe sex is supposed to be a pleasurable experience for both people and should be fun or explorative or those things, they're not going to do those things in sex. That's just my opinion. So they're not going to embrace their kinks because they feel like there's no reason to be tied up during this. That's not what this is for.
Or they become deviant. It's one extreme or the other.
Elaborate.
It's usually one extreme or the other. Either people are able to super suppress those urges, and so they, in order to do that, they don't do anything, right? They don't eat sweets. They don't have sex at all. They try to live this asexual life just so that they don't even get close to what they really want to do, right? Or people become really good at hiding what they want in front of other people, but because they do everything in secret and in the dark, it can go much darker than maybe what they would need to feel.
There's no regulation
that
of
void.
it.
They can go further because there's no nothing. You're not in the room with your wife, right? So the right thing to do would be to share your kink with your wife and you guys do it together, right? But you can't do that. So you're hiding to get your kink off, but because there's maybe nothing in this room you truly care about, your kink can turn into something else real quick, just with the adrenaline, your imagination, whatever, and now you're a deviant. Because now you've had that high and you're going to keep chasing, and it gets dark for people. I think it's those two.
I think sometimes, though, like that high is disgusting for some people, though.
It is, but when you can run back to life where nobody knows you had that high, it's easy for you to do it. Not easy, but that's what makes deviant. It's shit like that.
Kind of sounds like you should, like, you know, not to make it just super simple. If it gets you off and it ain't hurting nobody, you should live your shit.
You should.
Yeah, you should.
But that's the thing, though. What are we taught is hurting people. Like, that's the whole point. You get what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah, don't fuck kids. And
no.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
not saying in terms of that.
Oh.
What I'm saying is literally people who are told, like, sex is not for this. Like, sex is not for pleasure. Sex is just procreation and this. You are hurting yourself for how some people are taught by chasing or using sex for pleasure. You're hurting yourself.
They fall in that first
You get what I'm saying?
category.
So that makes it hard to be like, I'm not hurting anybody or I am hurting somebody. It's that how you're taught.
I would assume that there would have to be like more conversations or more spaces where you could be like, same way there's like, you know, everybody, there's more spaces for whatever the fuck you into, where people can go, hey man, that shit your daddy taught you or whoever told you that sex is just between you, your wife, and God, and you put your dick through the hole. Like, if whoever told you that, you just get around enough people and people have to start kind of like normalizing certain shit. Like, that motherfucker likes to whatever. Maybe even not, I don't know, like certain shit I think is maybe some wild kinky shit, but certain shit it just should be normalized that it's good to explore your sexual appetites in a certain way. And then it kind of like everything else, like,
yeah, because I'm a nasty motherfucker and I don't know where I got it from. Like, I don't have no,
I know exactly.
Wasn't touched as a kid or no shit like nothing. I don't, but I'm a nigga that's like, I don't know, but like I'm a nigga that's just like everything's game. Game. Don't touch my butt. Yeah. Don't bleed on me.
But I just think but
like we can pee and we can do everything, but just don't.
I would assume that like you weren't.
I don't like butt stuff.
Yeah, you might not have had like a real judgy.
Yeah. Like I just know I got a little butt. I just always give that disclaimer. I'm not homophobic.
You might not have had a real judgy environment where motherfuckers like, you do what, nigga? Like,
but I guess maybe because my environment was always taught to not give a fuck.
Yeah.
So even if somebody did, like, oh, you
like with everything, like one of my father's big lines was, he's like, because he, you know, as much as he has his idea for me and my sister, he always kind of would throw out there that you will get grown. He goes, so you do what makes you happy, whether it pisses me off, your mom off. So you, at some point, you will have to make certain. So I just took that shit everywhere. So if a motherfucker was to tell me, you do A, B, and C, if I regulate that makes me happy, like genuinely, I don't give a fuck about y'all.
I kind of take that back. I guess I was always taught by my father to like be like make sure your wife was good or make sure your lady was good.
Oh yeah, like in the theme of directly sexual, that nigga.
No, not directly sexual.
Oh.
Like me and my father have never discussed sex. Like we don't discuss anything directly sexual at all. Like that's just not the climate of our relationship. We don't discuss that. Like we discuss man shit and life shit and like be a man and in proper ways of manhood. But in that, sexuality has always taken care of itself.
That makes sense.
You get what I'm saying? My dad was always the type like Pop was always the type like teaches you about being a man, and if you exude manhood properly, then you will have women be attracted to you, and then you'll get a chance to learn sex for yourself.
That makes
sex
sense.
is not something that can like, oh son, you gotta whip it and throw it like this. Like my pops wasn't that tight. He was just like,
oh nah.
He was just like, just treat women nice, and eventually you'll get to have sex, and you'll learn through your own experiences. But there's nothing we're not gonna do like the, hey son, we never did it.
Do people do that?
I told you about my experience with Uncle Stanley, where he walked in the room
That's
like,
true.
Wow.
Uncle Stanley just walked in the room like, yo, y'all using condoms, and just had a sex talk with me and my cousin.
Was it like a real sex talk?
No, it was like a real, like we sat and my uncle, because my uncle was a dude who had like kids and while he was a teenager and shit. Nobody had to talk with him. So he came in there, when people like that who are traumatized by something, they come in and overly explain to you.
Oh no, I didn't get the overly explain. I fucked around and I found some Jimmy hats in my dad's car. Like I was like, what are these? And he was like, he was like, yeah. He was like, you know what sex is? And I was like, yeah, I had got to middle school and I like looked at it and he was like, look, he's like, you take this, you put it over your stuff so you don't get, any issues. And he was like, other than that, he goes, you'll figure out how it works. And he was like, oh, pro tip, you make sure she get hers first. Didn't know what that meant for years, but that was that shit. We didn't even make it. The light didn't even turn green. Like he said that, boom, boom, good to go. So
yeah, no, it was my I guess my sex conversation was more so about like manhood and
he was giving them shits all the time. Like,
sex was not something to strive for. Sex was more of a and not like, oh, you do these things to get it. Like you take care of a woman. That's pleasurable. Like you
live your life this way, sex gonna just show up.
Yeah, it was more that. He taught me those guidelines. So I never was a type that was like trying to and in that, once sex was under the same guidelines and rules as everything else was, like make sure you treat your wife good and make sure you please her. So it was no pressure. It was no any of those things for sex. Somebody say no, it's just no. It was not right. All right, whatever. But that, make sure you please and make sure you do your best. Make sure you do all that, whatever the shit was that my life lessons were. I just applied it to the bedroom as well.
I don't know if I had my sex talk was informative. Like that was the purpose of the conversation, was for me to get information. We in no way related it to myself, like personally, or like me in relationship with a boy. It was just, or a girl for that matter. There was no conversation about relationship and who you would actually do sex with, other than to talk about the anatomy of it and what it was. Like my mom literally, she had a book, one of her nursing books. It's about reproductive health and all that type of stuff. She came in the room. She says, like, we're going to talk about your body, you as a woman, yada, yada. So I'm like, okay. So she opens the book. It's a picture of the women's reproductive system. She's like, these are the parts of your body. Don't ever let me hear you call, like, your vulva a vagina. Like, my mom, she was like that. She's like, you need to know how your body works. Like, that's stupid. I don't want you thinking, like, you pee out of your clitoris, all this stupid stuff that girls turn into women thinking, for real, because they don't know.
This is one of those moments where it's like, wow, a female's upbringing is completely different. Because when I say I 100% remember being, like, 7, and niggas legitimately were like, girls pee out of their butts. Like, bro, we said that shit. We said, it was me and my friends. We dead ass said that shit and meant it. It was like, yo, girls pee out of their butts. It was like, yeah, girls definitely pee out of their butts. And we roll with that shit.
For sure.
That sounds like some shit that would be on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Nigga,
like, dude, she pees out her butt.
We said it just like that. It wasn't no joke. We wasn't laughing. We said that shit with confidence.
It was a confirmed fact. Like, it
girls
was like
pee out of their butts.
It essentially sounds like you were at a Congress meeting. Like, that sounds like a Congress meeting in Trump's cabinet.
I don't remember how the conversation comes up, but I know it was
out of their butts.
Yeah. Here's the dumb part. I know it was me that said, I was like, girls pee out of their butts. And niggas looked at me because I said it. So I was like, oh, of course. I knew that. And I was like, yeah, girls pee out of their butts. Yeah.
You just finding that out, DJ?
Girls do everything out of their butt. Like, they think when you start your period that it comes out of your butt is bleeding. How many times have you heard, like...
Oh, no, I don't know. Again, I was just...
Yeah,
it's a tube in there and it just switches different butt valves.
I don't know what that's about. I say that to say like that was my conversation, and she like her when she talked about when she talked about men, she was like, no, she told me about like sensation and how to make yourself feel good. She told me that before I ever think about having sex with somebody else, I should. You
definitely should have got transfer credits for this shit.
Exactly.
Yeah, this was Professor Mom.
Progress report.
We talked about diseases. She showed me how to put a condom on. And she said, the only advice I can give you is to never let the little boy put the condom on because he don't know how to do it right. I can promise you. And if you want to make sure nothing happens to you, you better put it on yourself. Then she showed me how to put a condom on. And I had to put a condom on a cucumber. And then that was it.
She had to take a pass or fail test at the end of it. And for this reason, she will never speak to my children about sex.
I was like, say, what was it like? Like literally, like I only watched it every now and again on television. What was it like living on Sesame Street to get these lessons like on a just daily basis?
It wasn't a daily basis.
We
did not talk about sex at all. We had that conversation about sex, and we've never talked about it again.
Boy, if you'd asked about drugs, you'd have been Griselda Blanco.
No, because she didn't know shit about drugs.
Yeah, like she got sex from like, so again, I think that affects how everybody, like how she learns sex, I think affects how she has sex.
That's true. That sounds
you know
like
what I'm saying?
It's true.
So yeah,
I think that was
I'm aware.
point.
And then there's me. Yeah, then there's me. Girls pee out their butts. That's terrible.
Yeah, then you
don't
just
judge me,
girls
people.
pee out their butts, and I'm just like, hey, look, I'm gonna go mow the grass. You give me some pussy when I feel like it, and that's just been my life. Like just. Like the other day we get ready to have sex. I'm like trying to get a quickie before I go to work, and she's grocery shopping, and I'm just like, oh, all right, well, she's online grocery shopping, and I'm just like, all right, well, I'm just gonna go to sleep, and it just whenever you just want to have some spare pussy, I'll take it.
I was right there.
But you get like that. But that's what I'm saying. Like it's how people learn it is, and you get what I'm saying.
Oh no, I 100% identify with you. I'm like, oh, if I gotta do too much. Oh, no, we're good.
Yeah, if a woman tells me no or like I'm busy, I don't want to have sex with you no more. Like the mood is literally past for me.
No, yeah, I'm not pressing no line.
Yeah,
like,
I'm not.
We a go.
If you don't catch that moment, then you just don't touch me. Go over there. Yeah, and let's be done with this.
I'm almost too. Yeah. I'm like I'm a Renaissance. If you come at me, come on. I've never understood niggas like I'm like man that let me know it's go for go. Like Yeah,
it's just but I think that affects how
absolutely.
It all happens. Mm-hmm. Like if you learn it as a like a straightforward thing of like this is this, I think it becomes like a this is this.
It's foundational.
Yeah,
foundational lessons, folks.
But I think with all of that, no matter how you learned it, you should break it and relearn it yourself.
Yeah,
I think sexually, like you should break it no matter how you learn whatever you learn sexually from your parents. I think that is just exactly what you said, foundational. And I think after that you should build like I think there's sex.
I don't think that's a like until right now I don't think that was like or is preached enough like from parents that at some point you have to prepare your kid to break whatever you told them. Mm-hmm. Like you tell them like I told you enough that you don't go out here and like die, but I am aware that at some point you will make your own decisions and I need to preach that hey, at some point you're going to piss me off, you're going to piss the world off.
What I'm telling you is only enough to get you to where get you to an age where you can start making and learning things yourself. I'm not telling you things for the rest of your life. That's one thing that even like with Lee, like when I was raising Lee, I'm not telling you things for you to take for the rest of your life. I'm telling you things that you take with you until you get old enough to make your own fucking decisions about shit. Once you get old enough to make your own decision about certain shit, no matter what it was, as she got older, it became different things. At first it was we eating this for dinner. Later on it
blew my mind. Thanks, Mom and Dad.
Yeah, like at first it was we eating this for dinner. Then as she grew, hey baby, what you want to eat for dinner? And then eventually, it just becomes this thing with all kinds of stuff. First it was I'm picking her clothes and shoes, and then it was, hey, what do you want to wear? What do you want us to go buy for you? And then it became it grows like that. But I don't know. Like my parenting method has always been there. Like I never am trying to be it's very rare that I'm trying to be the end all be all to anything. Even like how we talk about with the show, it's really to spark conversation, not end it. Mm-hmm. So even my parenting is just really to start your life. It's not to end it for you. You know, I'm not trying to.
Sounds super rigid too. That sounds like no fun. Like I'm the end all be all. I'm done. It's a wrap.
Yeah.
Unless, you know.
But I don't feel like a lot of people are parented that way, and so a lot of people don't parent that way. Mm-hmm. People didn't come from the school of, I'm telling you this just for now, and then you're going to make your own decisions, and you can even go against what I've taught you to live a life you're happy with. Like, nobody,
I feel like
parents were not saying that.
And I mean, I don't think I was told that. I think I was.
I'm not, yeah, but you was raised that way.
Yeah.
Like when I think about like just how certain lessons went, it wasn't like I was just flat out like you're gonna be different.
But I think that's the matrix of it all. It's like they teach you to think for yourself, hoping that eventually you will think for yourself on things they taught you how to think about. Mm-hmm. But I think that's the matrix. Like that's breaking the matrix, is realizing that everything you have been taught is not what you're supposed to be taught. You're really supposed to be taught this one thing. And this one thing is what you use to guide the rest of your life, not what this book of things that I've given you.
Yeah, you have to break it down like simply. Like it's like what's that fucking movie? Everybody watched Inception, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like how the concept was like the thing that will control you is like this very, very simple idea. Yeah, you drop that in the kid, and that will build the kid as a person. They have to build their own shit. Because also, like, I'm not a parent, but I'm like, I'm going to die, and I'm supposed to die before you, so I got to give you enough that you can figure this out on your own. If it's all based around my thought, you're fucked, because I'm finna, you know, I'm going to check out this motherfucker before you, well, supposed to check out before you. And then if I'm going and you still here and you rely on me to think for you, fucked.
Yeah, without a doubt. I even think if you think exactly like them, you're fucked, because I am a firm believer that things expire. Like time and shit fucking expires. Like people expire. Thought processes, ideologies, a lot of shit expires. If you haven't looked at it, that's why all great things eventually come to an end, because very few things are built to stand the test of time. Democracy, communism, fascism, all of this shit eventually, anything that you build is gonna fall because it's not built to stand the test of time. So with that, understand that something is only as good. Without evolution, you're bound for extinction. If you don't make something evolve, if you don't find ways to update it, upgrade it, however you want to describe it, then it's just gonna be something eventually that's just no fucking good to anybody, including yourself.
Them's is the facts, folks.
So yeah, we got 3 minutes to spare. Unless TJ and Tiff have something they want to plug in, I'm about to.
Oh no, not plug in. Fucking shout out to Mindful Complexions.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah,
shout out to the ladies at Mindful Complexions. Y'all go check them out.
I'll sit
all
there
natural
skin
care for men, beard care. Y'all go do that. Check y'all out some Dirty Laundry clothing.
Awesome.
Who else? Some ET in LA. Yes, get you some.
Neck been smelling good for 2 days.
Yeah, I've been doing my beard.
Bro, this shit was fire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, without a doubt. Shout out to them.
Yeah,
man.
I was I put that shit on my face, and I was walking around with I just ate some pussy faces. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was looking like what's that? The
Because you got that cedar wood.
Bro, I was.
It smells beautiful.
That's me. That's me right there. That's me right there. Yeah.
But
oh yeah, they do good shit, man.
Yeah, man, I'm about to go get me some seafood. What you about to do?
Honestly, that's a fucking move.
You want to go to Crab Queens? Anybody hearing this live, come meet us at Crab Queens.
Shit.
All right. It's your favorite show's favorite show.
Honestly,
Dope Ass Podcast. Go back and listen to this week. We was on Never Not Extra 2. Go back and listen to that episode. Shout out to them,
that
man.
Shit was fun.
Gang shit. We're going to have them on in the next couple of weeks to do Boats and Hoes Part 2. We're going to do a sequel to it on this show.
Y'all, shout out to them, but Kirsten and Money, y'all can't ever have me out like that on
never
a Tuesday,
again, man.
My back hurt, never. Shit hurt that I don't even know it's supposed to hurt. My toes was hurting.
Yeah, never again. But we fucks with y'all definitely though.
Yeah,
we owe y'all one. We gonna do it one more, but after that we done because we owe and we wash. What happened?
Yeah,
we go.
Careful with edibles.